Welcome back to TerraFirmaMental, keeping an open mind. Oh, where was I? I had a pen here. Right, so carrying on from where we were in the part 1, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Okay, once again we are filmed on location in Norfolk in the United Kingdom, just so there's no mistake. Wouldn't want any of you to think that this is American. It takes a country bumpkin like myself, a Norfolker, to set the record straight. So as a disclaimer, this is British comedy, alright? British comedy. It's entertaining, okay? Right. I'm proud to be British. Where we were, right? I haven't taken anything off the whiteboard since last time, right? All I've done is I've walked the dog, right? And I've uploaded the other part 1, and I thought that we would come back and try to tidy up a few bits and pieces. I was running out of time, you see, because 27 minutes is the record time, and we're already 2 minutes 27 seconds in. So where we left off was we disclosed that the Foo Fighters, because that's what they are, they're Foo Fighters. Now if you've never heard the term Foo Fighter, that is a World War II term, right? Foo Fighter is the name given to all sorts of things that the Allied pilots saw in World War II. So Foo Fighter term originates from World War II, and it means Uniform Foxtrot Oscar, or unidentified flying object, which is a very bit of a hot potato with YouTube and everything, but this is comedy, okay? This is entertaining, right? Take from this whatever you need to. Bit of a laugh. If you've got this on your TV and you're watching it with your family, then you know, you'll get some entertainment out of this. But if you've got any interest in any of this, right, then you're going to need to know a little bit more, okay? Because there's a whole load of symbolism which goes with this now, and it's all in plain sight. It's all in plain sight. And this is going to end up on a playlist, right? But what we are discussing here at the moment is, and I haven't written this down, let me just get a bit of paper, because I can't keep rubbing out what I've written down. We've got to build on this, so just give me a second. I've got my divining rods here. I'm just moving a few things about. Oh dear, get myself a sheet of paper so I can lean on the whiteboard, because the whiteboard's on the table at the moment. Monitoring 555 at the moment, the old propagation call thing for the radio. The time, that is the time, that's UK time, 21st of May, and we are discussing let's just write this down. We are discussing discussing 60 minutes UFO disclosure. Alright, does that look, disclosure, is that an R? That's an R. R, disclosure. Right, and these are the corrections, because it takes somebody in Norfolk who lives in the countryside. These are the corrections, right? Because otherwise what they're saying to you ain't making any sense. Right, so where we were was about here. We were talking about where we live, right? And we're going to continue this, right? So I'm just going to add in a few more bits just to clarify what's going on here. I'm going to keep the old camera on the fly at the moment. So if we put another compass here, right, we're going to have north. Right, don't matter where you are, right, your compass is going to point north, alright, always north, yeah. Now, the four rivers, let's just elaborate on that a bit, yeah. The four rivers. Most of you see this, let's just do the old paper again so I can lean. Right, here we are. Four rivers thing is, everyone has seen this and nobody really understands what they're looking at. Right, so I'm a little bit short of colours because I've only got these, and because I'm left-handed the writing's upside down, but that's a whiteboard pen. I can hold it round the right way, a bit more professional. Here we go. That's what we're using, right? Okay, so north. That's north this way, right? So what we've got here is the four rivers, right? Now, where have you seen that symbol before? Well, this is going to get my mucking words in a fuddle, right? This is going to get a little bit controversial, and I'm probably going to be using the wrong colours, but if you've got a Windows computer, right, and you wanted to hide that, how would you do it? Well, you would start off, let's just do this one blue, that one's blue, right, there we go. If you want to make a logo, it don't matter how this is going to turn out, but you'll understand, right? I haven't got all the colours, right, but just imagine you got your Windows computer, what you're probably watching this on, right? Let's go for another colour. I probably got the colours in the wrong order, but I use Linux. I'm a Linux man, so I really couldn't give a I really couldn't give a foxtrot. But basically, you colour all these in, right, and you have a Windows logo. Okay, so I can't finish this because I don't have all the colours, right? But that's your Windows logo, right? And you can turn it into a circle if you're on Windows 10 or if you're on whatever Windows. You know, it's basically the same thing, right? It's a Windows logo. So if we write MS Windows logo, right, you understand what that means, right? So you can make it that what you like. Okay, the other thing that we need to talk about is what I said earlier, or in the last part of this, about this being a ship's wheel, right? It's a ruddery thing, right? You know, like if you turn all these into handles, I'm not going to do them all, but if you make that into a handle, very roughly, there you go. You see what I mean? Right, okay, I'll fill the rest of that in, you know, in my own time. We've got to get on with this because we're already 12 minutes in. So, in the last episode, I said, or in the last part of this, right, because we're discussing 60 minutes UFO disclosure, and these are the corrections, right? So, I said that there was no way for these UFO things to go through the dome, right? And that there's only one way out. Okay, let's elaborate on this. Let's go up here out of the way. Okay. I'm going to put my sheet of paper down over this so I can lean on it. Imagine the dome and that is the wrong colour. I shouldn't have done it that colour. In actual fact, I think I might delete that. No, I won't. Right, okay, we'll make that into blue. See what we can do. This is the firmament, alright? And at some point the firmament has to come down to an edge. But the problem is, right, originally the firmament would have probably looked like that. It comes down and it's in the water, right? So if you imagine, we're only doing half of this, right? Let's see if we can just do a little bit more, just so you understand where we're at. The water level with this makes it that into like. Let's just write this in here. Firmament is a bell. Right, okay. So this is a solid object, and it's a paraboid, right, which I will explain in a later is a paraboid. I'll write that on there. Para. Well, that's a. Excuse me. There's a paraboid. Boyd. Paraboid. Paraboid. I don't know how to spell that. Paraboid. Ah, who cares? Right, you get the idea, right? So what happened was an ice shelf. There could well be land here. I don't know for sure, right? But there could be. Say there's land here, and on top of that there's a massive ice shelf, right? Now the reason for that ice shelf is it's no different to the back of your fridge. Right, that's ice. Ice wall. Right. That ice wall is all the way round here. Is that going to... Right, so I'm just going to do a quadrant of this. That's the ice wall, and we'll come back to that. Right. What you have to bear in mind is that Antarctica is all around. Okay, Antarctica is all around here. And what I'll do between part 2 and part 3, I'll fill that in, right, and we'll start filling all this in, right. But if you just bear in mind that that ice wall is all the way around, that makes an enclosure what keeps us in, and we're under the dome here. So that ice wall is all around here, right? Yeah, you understand? Okay, it's all the way around. So, being at the extremes at the outside, the whole system was made to keep us in here, okay? So we're going to go for a green, and we're going to start adding a few land masses in here. Right, so if we just like put in like, okay, South America and Falkland Islands, all that sort of thing, right, is represented like that. Okay, and the reason I've gone for putting South America here, right, North America will be here, okay, Canada, etc. Right, what you have to bear in mind that the equator is going to be halfway between the North Pole and the outside here, right? So that will be, that's the equator. And I'm only going to do one quadrant of this because I'll fill it in at a later time. Equator. Equator. Right, okay. That's the equator, right? On the ball, if you lived on a globe, right, many of you do, there's, you know, not many flat earthers, but say you lived on a ball, right, and that's your south at the bottom, and that's your north at the top, right. Now, this is what we were all taught in school. The equator is this bit round here, right, but on the flat earth the equator is here. Okay, now just to help you out a little bit figure this out, because like this is sort of on the fly, the sun, this is your tropics as well, yeah? So let's just write tropics in here, because the tropic. Right, now your sun travels all the way around here. Excuse me, but like I've got the camera on the fly here, but like I could do better, but I need to think on the fly here, because I need to keep jumping around, right? Right, so here we go, like the sun goes around here, right? And I'm going to show you how the seasons work, okay? Right, your seasons, I really want to do this. Right, we've got these labels here. We'll just do a little bit more ice here. Right, and then I'll be able to explain how the sun works. Just bear with me, please. I'm not exactly Rolf Harris when it comes to drawing or painting anything. Not Tony Hart either. There we go. Right. That's the ice wall. Now, what happens is the sun. Let's go back here. I don't have yellow. The sun and the moon travel around inside here, right? So do the sun in red. Here we have the limit of the sun's travel okay, there we are. So, in the southern hemisphere, Australia, South America, etc. South America's over here, right? This is, I'm trying to draw, right? I'm trying to draw while looking through the phone, right? We're in May at the moment, so where is the sun going to be? Well, I live in the northern part, on the inside bit, right? So at the height of our summer, which would be longest day, shortest night, the sun would be here, right? On the equinox, it's funny that, because like equator is very similar to the word equal, right? Equal day and night is here, right? Shortest day, longest night, yeah, when the sun's at its lowest, is here, right? So it's summertime in the outer bit, and it's winter time here when the sun is there. So like end of December, right, the sun will be here, right? That's the warmest it is here, right? So if we go back to this and we just fill in, we've got the pole here, that's the North Pole, and we have the equator is here, right, and the sun, oh dear, all these pens, right, here we go, right, there we go, that's that logo, that's that figure of 8, that's infinity, right, because it keeps going round, right. In the summertime, when that's there, right, and it's summertime in the outside part, right, which is Australia, South America, etc., etc., right, any condensation, right, which is built up on here, is going to melt. The sun's up here, yeah, so as the sun moves this way, any any ice which is built up here is going to be melted, and it's going to add to the ice shelf, which is why the ice shelf is so high. And when the sun's at this point, which is my summertime because I live in the middle, right, is any condensation is going to build up on here, right, and then when in the summertime here, then it's going to melt off, and it's a continuous cycle, right? Bearing in mind that the sun is going around here, this is like a 24-hour clock, yeah? So I'll write that on there, 24-hour clock. Yeah, that's basically what this is, right? So while the sun's doing that, the moon is doing its other things. You know, the moon is slightly different. It gives off its own light. It does its own thing, and the moon is always 45 minutes late every night, which gives some other characteristics that we will talk about at a later date. But right now, what we need to understand is how the seasons work and how that ice wall got built up. It's through the repeated yearly cycle of the sun doing this and moving in and out over the equator.